Wow, that's pretty neat, isn't it, guys? Did you like the picture of the boat from the drone?
Yes.
Yeah. So my name is Cody. So as Miss Dowd said, I work on a boat in the middle of the ocean. It's a research boat, and we study all sorts of different things out here. We study different things in the water. We study earthquakes and volcanoes, all sorts of different things. So I work for a university in the state of New York called Columbia University, and the name of the boat is the RV, so RV's research vessel, Marcus G. Langseth. And we go all around the world studying different things in the ocean. So I've been to many countries over the time. It's a really interesting job, and we get to see all sorts of different people. So let's look where you guys are at now. So here's a map. So this is the Colorado Adventure Point. Can everybody see the map?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's where you guys are at right now. Let's zoom out a little bit so we can see the mountains. Do you see the mountains over on the left side? Over on the, yeah?
Yes.
We zoom out a little bit farther. Now we can see the United States. We can see the West Coast where California's at. We can see Florida down here, Michigan up by the Great Lakes. So the vessel, we're all the way down here, all the way down south. So all the way down here. So I'm going to zoom in. So at the end of this little line here, that's where we're at right now. We're in the middle of the ocean. We're a long ways away from land. We're 5 or 6 days away if we had to go at full speed on board the boat. So I'm going to zoom out a little bit more. So you see the yellow and the green track on the screen?
Yes.
Does everybody see that? Yeah, so that's the path that we're following on the boat. So we sailed south. We did some work down here. We dropped some instruments off the side. And now we're going to go to a country called Costa Rica. Now, as I talk, you're going to see some people sit down and study some different instrumentation. Let me stop sharing the screen and I'll show you. So you're going to see some different people sit down and look at the computer screens and the instrumentation. Those are real life scientists looking at the data as we collect the data on board. We're making a map of the bottom of the ocean. Isn't that pretty cool?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So you're in the Colorado Adventure Point. So our boat is just about the same size as the building that you're in right now. So it's almost a football field long and a little bit narrower. So almost the size of the building you're in right now. And we have 40 to 50 people on board, and we stay on board for almost 5 weeks. So that's a long time, isn't it? We stay together, we eat lunch and we eat breakfast and dinner together. We go to the gym. So let me show you a couple things on board here. So at home, where do you eat at home? What's it called?
The kitchen.
The kitchen? So on board the boat, we have all these silly names. We call it the mess room. So this is where we eat. It looks like a cafeteria, but we call it the mess room on board. And then where the cooks cook the food, we call that, instead of the kitchen, we call that the galley. So here's a picture here. You see the food? So we have, like today, we had a pizza and chicken nuggets. Who likes pizza? Probably nobody, huh? Oh yeah, yeah. Today we had pizza, chicken nuggets. It was really good. It was a good lunch today. So let's look at a video of the boat, sort of a drone type video in the air.
Wow.
So this is a drone coming in on the back of the boat. And remember I said that we have these silly names at sea. So this is called the stern, or the back of the boat. So now we're going to come to the right-hand side. And at sea, we call the right-hand side the starboard side. What a strange name. Why don't they just do it right? So we're on the starboard side. So you see that big square in the middle? That's where we deploy instruments from. We call that the A-frame. And now we're coming up to the front of the boat. This is where the captain works. The captain works at the front of the boat, and this is where he drives the boat at sea. Now here's the front. Now we call this the bow. That's what we call that. See, the bow of the boat. Now we're coming on the left-hand side, and we call that the port side. And you see, if you look real hard, you'll see two small boats right in the center. Those are for us to go. So we launch those into the water, and we go out and we do different work out at sea in the small boats. And sometimes the seas can be a bit rough. So like today, for example, I don't know if you can see in the picture here, but can you see behind me? Up here, you can see the water. It's a nice, smooth day. But sometimes it can be quite rough. Let's look at a picture of a rough day.
We're not on the beach.
All hands, hoist the colors high. Heave ho, thieves and beggars, never shall we die.
What'd you think of that video? Pretty neat?
Scary. Very scary.
Yeah.
Do it again.
Do it again.
We'll play it again towards the end. What do you think? If you ask some good questions towards the end, we'll play the video again. So we have a couple more videos. So I told you before that we do a lot of different science on board. And some of the science we do, we collect water samples. So scientists, who knows what a microscope is? Do you guys know what a microscope is?
You guys know what a microscope is? Yes. Tell Cody
Yeah.
we used a microscope today.
Oh, wow. You guys use one today? What'd you look at?
What did you guys look at in the microscope?
Rocks.
And moss and leaves and dirt.
Oh, wow. So the scientists on board here, they use a microscope to look at the water and to look at the little tiny bugs inside the water and to see how they live and how they, like what they eat and all that kind of stuff. But we take the water from very deep down in the ocean, almost all the way at the bottom. We'll take what's called a sample. So what's a sample? A sample is where you take, so like if you're at home, for example, and you take the hose and you fill some water in a glass or a cup, that's sort of taking a sample of water that the scientists can then study and look for the different things. Another thing we do is we also take rock samples. So we take rock samples all the way from the bottom of the ocean. We have a big basket that we drag along the bottom and we sort of scrape up different rocks. They bring them to the surface and then we dump them out on the deck. And then the scientists look at the rocks and try to tell what type of rocks are down at the bottom of the ocean. Some other equipment we deploy. So look at this deployment. This is pretty neat here. Look at this. So what did we see there? So on the kind of the big orange color, that was actually the bottom of the boat that I'm on right now, and that was looking in the water. And what we do is we deploy an instrument. So what does deploy mean? Deploy means we basically just drop it into the ocean. So we move it over the side of the boat and we just drop it. That's what deploy means. It's one of the scientific terms they use on board on the boat here. So they drop this instrument and it floats all the way down to the bottom. So that's what we were looking at there. And when I'm on board right now, that's what we were just doing. So that video was just taken a couple days ago. So here's another example, but this is the sort of same picture, but it's on the deck so you can see the people working. So what's the deck? The deck is the outside part of the boat. Let's see here.
I've been the one. You have been the one for me. Goodbye, my lover. Goodbye, my friend. You have been the one. You have been the one for me.
So that's some of the things we do with the instrumentation But you know what? Also, when we're out here, we see different types of animals. What type of animals do you think we see?
What do you guys think?
Sharks.
Sharks.
Whales.
Whales.
Giant. No, blue whale.
A blue whale.
Killer whale.
Wow. Wow, you guys are smart. I heard sharks and whale. I heard a blue whale. Wow, you guys are smart. So, here's some of the animals that we see here. So what's coming at us right now? Does that look like a shark?
Yes.
Look at that. Isn't
Oh.
that's a big sea turtle, isn't it? You see the colored fish?
Wow.
Who sees the number 1 on the tortoise's shell?
You see the number 1? Me.
That's because he's the fastest. Yeah, so these are some of the things that we see. Let's see another. I think I have some pictures of a dolphin here. There's pictures of a dolphin. Oh, hold on.
Sometimes I know it's
So here's a dolphin. Yeah. Here's a lot of water outside. Look at all that water. So when we're on board, remember, as I said before, there's 40 to 50 people on board. So if you look around in your classroom right there and you see all those people in your classroom, so that's going to be your classroom plus another classroom all with us. So we have, remember we looked at the mess room before, that's where we eat. We also have a small library on board. Do you guys go to the library sometimes?
Yes.
Yeah. We have a gym. Look at that nice gym.
Nice. Fire.
Yeah. This is where the captain drives the boat. Remember I told you that the captain drives up front of the boat by the bow? So that's the captain's seat. He drives up there and drives the boat. But what don't you see? What do you think should be there that's not there?
Captain.
What do you guys not see?
What?
What equipment do you think?
Me. A steering
Where's
wheel.
Where's the big steering wheel like you see in the movies? Yeah, we don't have steering wheels anymore. You know what it's like? It's like playing a video game, like a PlayStation or a PS5. It's a little joystick that they drive the boat with. Isn't that pretty cool?
Yeah, I also like.
So here's another picture. Here's the movie room. Who likes to watch movies? Probably nobody. Oh, really? Yeah, so this is the movie room. So this is where we come. We can watch movies and TV shows. Some people watch cartoons on board. I don't believe it, but they do. Some people play games, PlayStation, and all those different type of games. We even have a guitar on board. So some people like to play some music. So does anybody have any questions right now, or I can continue going on? Are there some questions?
Yeah. How about Trey? What's your question?
Has there ever been rough waves?
Yeah, there has. That one video I showed you with the water coming on board with the pirate song singing. So that video was on board here, and the boat was rolling quite a bit. You had to hold on. So when we were eating, you had to be careful when the boat was moving, because your pie would slide down to the next person and they would steal your dessert.
Ezra, what's your question?
Can you catch dino bones?
Oh, that's a good question. So we don't really see any dinosaur bones at the bottom of the ocean where we work. So where we work is very deep, and that's not where the dinosaurs were at this time frame. So we don't see any dinosaur bones, but that's a good question.
What time is it right now there?
Oh, that's a good question. Yeah. So right now we're on the same time that you guys are in Colorado. So we're on mountain time. So it's 1:40 in the afternoon. Do you guys know why there's why there's different times? You guys know about time zones? Did you learn about those yet?
1:30. I know. My brother teach me how to read on the time.
Yeah.
I don't know. You should explain to us. I don't know.
Okay. So you see, so what are we looking at here? Is this Earth?
Yes.
Yeah. So we're looking at Earth right now, and remember the sun is what we get daylight from. This is how we sort of. So in the morning, when the sun is first rising, that's going to be morning, and when the sun sets, that's going to be in the evening. But of course, the planet spins. So when you have the sun shining down on the Earth as the planet spins, different parts of the country are going to experience daylight at different times during the day. So we can't all have the same time zone. We can't all be the same time, because what happens is people living on the East Coast in New York City, for example, they'll have daylight in morning when they're having their Fruit Loops or their Lucky Charms for breakfast, but all the way over here in California, it'll still be dark. So that's why in the country we need to have several different areas that have different time. So when people in California wake up, which is right here, it'll be daylight when they're having their Lucky Charms or Fruit Loops or Rice Krispies or whatever they like to eat. Does it sort of make sense?
Yes. Thank you. Okay, Baron, what's your question?
Do you see dinosaur bones that used to live in the sea?
So we don't see them. So normally the dinosaur bones, they get on land. They find them on land. So we work very far away from land. So we don't see any where we're working. But we see different types of rocks. We measure volcanoes. We look at earthquakes. We look at different types of fish sometimes and little bugs that live in the water. But no dinosaur bones. Sometimes we see sharks.
Did you hear that?
Yeah.
Ezra asked if there's been a tsunami ever.
Oh, wow. That's a good question. So sometimes, yeah. So there's a couple things that we have to watch out for. So you have tsunamis and then you have hurricanes. So what happens with a tsunami? Does everybody know what a tsunami is? Does everybody know what that word means?
Not everyone.
Oh, good. So a tsunami is when you have a lot of water that comes up on land. A lot of water. It sort of comes out of the ocean and floods up on land. Yeah?
Does that make
So-
more sense?
So like washes you.
Yes.
So the reason that happens is a long ways away. What happens underneath the water, you have an earthquake sometimes. And then maybe the land changes, or maybe you have like a rock slide under the ocean or under the water. And then it makes a big wave, sort of like if you're in the lake or if you're in a pool and someone jumps in the water on one side of the pool and it makes a wave that goes all the way over the pool and splashes up on the other side. So that's something similar to what happens with the tsunami. It's a little bit different, but that's sort of the idea.
Yes.
Yep.
You see any shark bones?
No, we don't see. We've seen sharks, but no shark bones. Yeah. So let's see another video. This is a video of some of the guys working.
Did they catch anything?
So there in the video, you saw us deploying some equipment. So remember when I said deploying, we're putting it into the water. So we put some equipment, some scientific gear into the water behind the boat so we can do some studies with that in the water. So what about where do we sleep? So what does this look like? Does this look like a bunk bed? Hold on one second.
Let's see what he's gonna pull. Oh,
So what about that? Yeah. So this is where the scientists stay when they're on board. They get to choose their bunk bed. Sometimes they argue about who gets the top bunk, but it's not all the time. People are usually pretty friendly, and this is where they sleep on board. Do you guys want to meet some scientists? They're right over here next to me. Yeah, do you want to meet some? Well, Kate, do you have a second? Hold on 1 second, guys.
Here's them.
So this is one of the scientists here. Yeah. Her name is Kate. Can
Hi,
everybody say
Kate.
hi?
Hi.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So there's quite a few different scientists on board. They come from all over the world. There's people from several different countries here. There's people from several states. So does everybody? So you're in Colorado, right? Everybody's in Colorado.
Yes.
Yeah. So have you heard of the state of California, where they make movies, Hollywood, and all the movie stars?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's where Kate was from. So she works at a school there where they go into the ocean to study different things.
Wow.
Yeah.
Where
Does
are you
anybody
from?
have any other questions?
Where are you from?
Where are you
So
from?
I grew up. Yep. So I grew up in the state of Michigan, and now I live in Colorado. I live right down the street from where you guys are at right now.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So you said you guys are only gone 5 weeks at a time.
So yeah, it depends on the expedition that we're on and how long we're going to be out here with the scientist. But I'm on board the boat anywhere from 2 weeks up to 7 weeks. So quite a long time sometimes.
Do you have a family?
Yeah. So I have some family back in Michigan, but in Colorado, nope, it's just me, and I have a wild fox that I feed sometimes when she comes by.
Nice fun. Trey has a question.
What's your question, Trey?
Have you ever seen a blue whale?
I have seen a blue whale. It was down by a country called Brazil, a long ways away. So where's Brazil? Let's look. So remember, this is the United States that we looked at before, of course. So this is where we're at. Remember, down here. So Brazil is all the way over here. So this is called the Atlantic Ocean. Does anybody know how many oceans there are?
3. 7.
Yes, Karen. 7. Good job.
So let's look at some of the oceans here. So I got a. Okay. Does everybody see the polar bear?
Yes.
Yeah.
No.
So the
No,
polar bear,
Over on the screen.
the polar bear is by the Pacific Ocean, and that's right at the top of his head is where we're at right now. And then over here is the Atlantic Ocean, and then we have the Arctic Ocean up in the north, up by the North Pole. Down we have the Southern Ocean, and then we have the Indian Ocean over by Africa and Australia and India, all these different countries. So there's quite a few oceans out there. And then sometimes they call it the North Atlantic and the South Atlantic and the North Pacific and the South Pacific. But those are sort of the main oceans that we have. And have you guys studied the water cycle in school, in your class?
Have you guys started the water cycle?
Yeah.
No. We have some yeses and some nos.
No.
Okay. So,
No.
so we just looked at all the oceans. So look at all this water. But how does, when it rains in Colorado or when it snows, you know how in the winter we get all that snow in Colorado? Well, how does that water go all the way down to the ocean? So that's called the water cycle. So let's look at what happens. So you see the mountains here. So let's say the mountains are Colorado. You know, so it rains in Colorado, and then the water goes down the street. It goes into a river, and then that river flows all the way out to the ocean. So, for example, it could be, you know, the Arkansas River going down to the Mississippi, and then all the way down to the ocean. And then what happens is you have something called evaporation. So what happens with evaporation? You know how on a hot day, water will will sort of evaporate into the air and it feels very sticky. So that's called evaporation, where the heat turns it into sort of a gas or a mist, and it goes up into the air and it forms clouds. And those clouds bring that wetness or that moisture back onto land again, where there's another scientific word we're going to use. It condenses, or condensation. So do you know when you have a can of Coke or Pepsi or Sprite, you know it's a hot day, you know how you get some water on the outside of the can of Coke? Has anybody seen that before?
Yes.
Yes.
Melt.
Yeah.
Melt.
Well, that's called condensation. So that sort of it forms that water, and then when it gets so much in the clouds, it then rains down back onto Colorado again, and then the whole cycle repeats. So that's why it's called the water cycle. Does that sort of make sense to everybody?
Yes. Thank you for explaining that.
Yeah.
So how did you get into this? Like, I feel like this is pretty obscure.
Yep. So just like you guys, I went to school. So what grade are you guys in?
Second.
We have kindergarten through third grade.
Wow. Wow. Kindergarten through third grade. Yeah, so just like you, I went kindergarten and first and second and third. But you know what I did? I had to listen to my teachers, and I studied hard. You know, I did my homework, and I learned how to read, and I like to read chapter books. And then I learned my math. And then from third grade, I went to junior high school, and then I went to high school, and then I even went to college. And then after that, I got a job working on board of a boat. And I worked all around the world. I've been in many different places. But you know where it all started? It all started by listening to my teachers and doing my homework and taking school very serious. So one day you can do something like this too.
Wow. Hear that?
I'm gonna do that when I
grow up. Do you have a question, Jasper?
Yes.
What is it?
Have you ever gone around the whole world before?
I have been around the world several times.
7
What's your favorite place that you've seen or like been to?
Well, my favorite place is Colorado, but if I had to choose a place outside of Colorado, I like a country called Spain. So let's look where Spain's at. So we're going to come back to the United States. So we see the United States again, remember. Here's Colorado. And Spain is all the way over here. So we're going to hold on. I have to do the reorientation there. So this continent here is called Europe. Has anybody heard of Europe before?
Have you guys heard of Europe?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. Yes. No.
Does anybody like soccer or football? Soccer?
You guys like
Oh yeah.
Okay, settle.
So soccer is very, very famous in Europe. So this is the country called Spain. And it's very nice. They have very good food, and they have nice people. It's very fun to be there.
Wow.
Yeah. Do you guys want to see the video with the pirate song again?
All hands, hoist the colors high. Heave ho, thieves and beggars, never shall we die.
Wow. That's scary. Have you guys what's the biggest wave that's come onto the boat like that? Have you ever feared for your life genuinely?
Oh no, the captain is very good, and we look at the weather just like we do back in Colorado. We look at the weather report. We do the same here. And the captain is very good. He always makes sure that we're always safe. So the biggest wave that we've probably seen, I don't know, 15 feet maybe. So does anybody know how tall a fire truck is? So a fire truck is very tall, right? Yeah.
Yes.
So the wave that we saw was as tall as a fire truck.
Wow, that's insane. Jasper, you have a question?
Yes. Do you still do the thing that you said about
What thing?
where like you go around the ocean and stuff?
Yeah, do you still go around the ocean and stuff?
Yeah, I'm in the ocean right now. So if you can see behind me, do you see this? Do you see this camera? So that's the water that we're going past right now.
Is there a camera over there?
Yeah.
So it's still moving?
Yep, he's still moving. They're moving
Yep,
right
he's
now.
moving right now. Yep.
So,
And then do
so
you see all
like,
the scientists over here?
look at all the scientists, guys.
Yeah, so they're here working. They're here working on different, different studies, and they're looking at different data. And do you see all the cameras here? Look at all those computer screens.
All on screens.
That's a lot of screens, isn't it?
Wow, yes.
That must have taken a while to set up.
Huh. It did take a long time to set up. That's a good question. That's a good observation.
And you need a lot of electricity.
Yeah. How do you guys even get Wi-Fi from in the middle of the ocean?
We have a satellite dish on board that's specifically built for boat.
Nice.
How do you even get the cameras over there to plug in and stuff?
Well, it takes a lot of work to put the camera system up. So we have cameras that look at different positions on board, and we even have cameras that spin around and zoom in so we can see exactly what we want on board. When we're doing different type of scientific studies, we need to see exactly what's happening and when.
And can you talk to people from the cameras?
From the cameras we can't, but we have these radios, you see? So that we talk on the radio to people that are working outside that we want to talk.
Wow. So what's the newest project you guys are like working on, or like discovery, or whatever?
Yeah, no, it's a good question. So right now, let me go back to the map. So let's see. We're going to zoom out. We're going to come over to where we're working at. I'll do the reorientation here. So right now the boat is right here. You see where it says Marcus G. Langseth right here?
Yes.
Yes.
And does everybody see these green dots here?
Yes. Yes.
So at each green dot, we sailed to each green dot and we dropped, remember I said deployed? We dropped some equipment over the side to settle all the way on the bottom. And what we want to do is we want to measure for earthquakes. And that equipment is going to sit on the bottom of the ocean for over 1 year. So who's in first grade?
Raise your hand if you're in first grade.
So next year when you're in second grade, we're going to come back here and we're going to pick this equipment off the bottom of the ocean. And then we're going to look at the data to see what type of earthquakes that we saw there. Isn't that pretty neat?
Yes. Has anything ever like happened to that equipment though? Because like, wouldn't it like move? Like, I mean, maybe not very far, but wouldn't it move? Or like if an animal like chewed it or something?
So it's pretty deep. So right now the water depth is 3,500 meters. So it's very deep down. So think almost 3,500 yards. So 35 football fields? Quite a bit. So there's not too many animals down there that are going to sort of bump the equipment. But what we do have to worry about are different type of currents. So when we dropped it off the side of the boat, as it drops down through the water, there are different currents that can push the instrument away from where we want. But that's a good question because after it goes all the way to the bottom, we do something called surveying. So what does that mean? What a silly word, surveying. Basically, what it means is we find out the position of that piece of equipment on the bottom of the ocean by sailing a circle around it. But it's not exactly a circle. What does this look like? Does this sort of look like a Pac-Man, maybe? Who plays Pac-Man, the game?
Me.
Yeah.
I play you.
Yeah, does it sort of look like Pac-Man?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So we make a pattern around it, and then what we do is we talk to it the entire time we're going in a circle. We're basically saying, "Hey, how far away are you?" And it tells us, "Hey, I'm 3,500 meters away. Hey, I'm 3,550 meters away." And when we know that distance, we can make some math, some very fancy math. Remember, I told you in school you need to study hard and listen and do your math. Well, these scientists are very good at math, and they can make a very good position of where that's at on the bottom of the ocean.
Wow. Cool. Oh, Jasper, yeah.
Can anybody touch in the deep spot?
So that's a good question. Is that Jasper? Good question, Jasper. On our boat here, we don't have any submarines, or another word for it is called ROV, which is a remote operated vehicle. We don't have any on board here, but other research vessels or other research boats do. And what they do is they send a submarine all the way down to the bottom, and then with robot arms, they're able to take rock samples from the bottom. They don't touch it with their hands, but they touch it with these robot arms, and they're able to get. Remember what I said? A sample was. A sample is sort of a collection of something that they want to study later, and then they pick a rock up, just like you guys today with your microscopes. You looked at rocks. Once they pick a rock up from the bottom, the scientists will then look at it under the microscope.
Wow, that's cool.
Impressive.
Do you have any other questions?
Nope.
Thank you so much. Everyone say thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
I'm good.